Breaker niner, breaker niner, 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 breaker niner, 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 niner. Think, film, believe. Niner, 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 niner. Well, I was doing up that last video, and, I thought of another little, oh, come on, don't get so jerky, you knock your hat off your head. So I was thinking of that video, the last one we did, when I was doing Think, Film, Believe 8, and then towards the end of that video, I had this little story in my mind, which I talked about earlier, but we'll talk about it now. It was just another one of those things where, like it talked about, it was like, I must have some power or something, but then you do, I do, you do, and I do, and you do, and everybody do. Yeah, do, yeah, you do, I don't do, yeah, you do, yeah, we all do. We all do, we all do, we all do, we all do. We just don't know it. But it's real, it's powerful. In all of us, you say. So, here's the story. I told you, I think it was in like 7. I think it was Think, Film, Believe 7. I told you about that Porsche. Yeah, that was a cool car. It's a cool car. I got this Porsche 924. Well, I tell you, Porsche, there is no substitute. So because on a Porsche, there's called they put the engine in the front, and then instead of putting the engine and the transmission in the front, they put the engine in the front and the transmission in the back, and then it balances the weight, and so you don't have all the weight in the front of the car, you see, and then when you go around the corner, all the weight in the front of the car, but when you take the weight in the car in the front and the weight in the back, oh, wow! I mean, doing corners in that thing will make you, like, squeal! Yeah, I mean, it's like, wow. I mean, I want to say something, but I'm not, because it's a little bit of a family show here, because I want to make sure that the little children can watch these too, because children got to know that this is for them too, and I'm going to get to that story. Oh, you betcha! Betcha! So anyway, so I get this Porsche, right? Oh my gosh. Porsches are like, I can have the rich man's car, because you got to when you got to go to fix one of those, oh man, I dumped, like first time I took it in to get it worked on, like $3,000 to fix all that stuff. Another time I went to get it worked on, about $3,000 to fix all that stuff. It's like, oh my gosh. But anyway, great car. Oh, love that car. And, thing about it was like, the persona of that vehicle can kind of start to take over you, because I never realized this. I drive around this car, and it was a 1979 back then, but it's still a Porsche, right? People know it's a Porsche. People know it's a high-performance vehicle, and I'd get people up that just pull up next to me, room, and I'd be like, what the heck is going on, man? And I'd get these people up, and they give into the gas, and it was like, oh my gosh, it's like, you're just driving a Porsche, and people are like, wanting to race you, and, so here was one of the things, oh, I'm laughing. Luckily never anything happened, but I was, is a bad word here, because this is exactly the words that I was repeating. I'm a bad word, just a little bad word, just a little bad word. And, so I drive around in this car, and I would literally, this is what I repeat. I'd be like, I gotta look out for all these shithead drivers. Oh man, I gotta look out for all these shithead drivers. I mean, all these people. I gotta look out for all these shithead drivers. And guess what? Next thing you know, I'm running all these people that are cutting me off and getting too close and doing stuff. And this went on just for a little while, until one day, and I can tell you, when you're from Colorado, you know exactly where I'm coming from and where I was at, okay? So I'm going up I-70. I get off at 20th and Youngfield, because at the time I used to live over in Golden over there. I get off at 20th and Youngfield. I am in, I believe, I'm not mistaken, I'm in the outside lane. Some guy's in the inside lane. We go, and it's a 2-lane turn, right? And we're turning left to go underneath that bridge, right? We turn left to go underneath that bridge. And that guy, he goes and he cuts in front of me. And I'm telling you, it had to have been this close from the front end of my car, and he almost hit me. And I'm like, by this time, I had run into so many head drivers that Okay, I'm going to stop calling it out. Again, people, we're doing it blindly, and you don't even know it, right? I mean, because a lot of it was just driven me by emotion and this persona that kind of puts on you when you're driving a car like that. I mean, it's like you take on a persona sort of, because you're in a Porsche and you're sitting down real low and the car's quick and it corners and it's unbelievable. And so, I stop. And guess what? And I stopped. From that point on, I knew exactly what I was doing because I'd experienced all that other stuff blindly. So I stopped because it was like, no, I don't run into those drivers anymore. And I stopped. Not running into them, I just stopped coming across them, right? And so I stopped because I didn't want that to happen no more. I didn't want it to happen, because out of the evilness of heart, a man called forth the evil person, a person, and so this is pretty big stuff. I mean, really, because you can have, you can be calling things out in your life that you have absolutely no idea what's going on. And, for instance, I used to have this guy that I knew. And I used to work with him, and he was kind of a friend, he was a friend too. He wasn't kind of a friend, he was a friend. And he used to, Brian used to say, and again, we're using that word again, he had his little mantra, happens, happens. And, and then I'd call him, and then something would be going on with his garbage disposal or something, and, and he'd have that negative connotation about happens. And, and if it wasn't one thing or another, and I'm telling you, it was like he's having something wrong with the garbage disposal. And then at one point, some little girls were playing with matches on the he lived in a condo complex. Girls were living on the outside of, on the outside of the condo. They were playing with matches. Some pine needles got caught on fire. The side of this condo is made of wood shake, right? And the wood shake catches on fire, so the whole side of this building where he lives is caught on fire, and then caused damage around his windows and everything like that. And it's like, well, you'd be surprised. I mean, you got to stop speaking that. I mean, to go around and and have this little negative connotation about happens, you just stop that, and maybe say it doesn't happen, it never does, and you gotta really, I mean, you can't really freak out about these kinds of things, but you gotta watch your thought processes. I mean, there's many people out there that I would just love to be a fly on the wall in their head, to be able to listen to their thought life. On their daily thought life. I mean, because that's where it is. Because what are your thinking? Emotions are driving in it on an underlying level, whether you're conscious of it or not. See, we're going to get to some goody stuff. And so you've got these thoughts, and they're driving these feelings, and then it's creating sometimes blindly the belief, right? And like, for instance, my friend, Brian was, happens, and then stuff would happen, right? And then what would that do? What would that do? That would just reinforce about how it happens. And so things get happening all the time. And I tell you, that condo fire, that thing drug out for I don't know how long. Just constant stuff going on in his life. And let me tell you something. If you need to really watch what you think, feel, and believe about stuff. This is kind of like a wake-up call to what your thoughts are. See, because you're doing stuff blindly. You're done blindly. You can't see what you're doing. You can't see what you're doing. Yeah. So you got to watch your thought life a little bit, and then go to think, film, believe 10. Yeah. Wow.